Okay, so the problem is, I don't know how accurately you can see these threads here. They're supposed to go from here down to here, but aren't. Problem is, every time I set that up, the cats decide it's a chew toy, and they pull the threads all over the place, and I end up cleaning it up and having to cut the threads because they're tangled. The plan is to make a cover for that whole tree all the way down to the machine for when I'm not using it, so I can leave it threaded, because threading a serger can take a fucking hour, and I'm not up for that. Not every time I need the machine. The easiest possible way, I believe, for me to do this is to take a bed sheet, which is useless because nobody in the house has a single bed. I'm going to spread it over top of the whole thing and pinch out and pin out where I need to put seams to hold it all in place, so it'll be obviously inside out when I'm making it. Actually, no, it won't be, because it's not even from side to side, so I can't do that. This is causing a problem. So I'll spread the sheet over it, pinch out where it's going to be, and I'll roll seams so that they're not visible, or so they're pretty, whatever else. So let's start that. We'll put you somewhere where you can see everything, or see most of what I'm doing, or some of what I'm doing. We'll put you somewhere. That's about as close as I'm going to get, which is unfortunate. Where can we put you? There's no towering position nearby. Well, we'll put you here, right at the end of the table, so you can see it from this angle. I think that's as close as I'm going to get you, so you can sort of see what's going on, at least some of it. And we'll start. I could just be lazy and make this into a bag, which I may well do, considering that would actually work. All right, that'll do it. Okay, let's start pinning this up. I'll show you what it's going to look like once I got it all pinned up. Well, this is going to be more difficult than I thought. I'm going to have to do this seam by seam. Do one seam, get the structure set up, and then put it back on. Do the next seam, get the structure set up, put it back on, as such, until it's finished. So I'm going to stitch that one. I'll set up over here. Oh, for fuck's sakes. I'll put everything back in here because I had to get one thing out and it made a mess. Let's get this back where it belongs. Everything that belongs in there, back in there. So I will set you up to watch me sew this seam. Actually, scratch that. I'm going to set up this machine. Yes. I'm going to turn it on. Yes. There's the lights. There's the other lights. So this is going to be up and running. But in the immediate, I'm going to do that cut. I'm going to roll it and do that seam. After that, I'll set it up and show you how my progress. Okay, so I'll do that cut, then I'll set you up and you can watch me stitch it. All right, I think I got you where I had you before. Another major tool in this process is I got to put my glasses on. Don't get old. You can't help it when you do, but try not to. Let's reverse this. Do this seam inside out. Fold it and do the other side the same way. Using 3/4 as a seam allowance on this because, well, honestly I don't give a fuck. It ain't meant to be specifically pretty, so I'm not trying. Well, I'm not trying for pretty. I'm trying for make it work. A weird shaped thing when it's done, but it's done. I wish there was a way for me to set the camera up so you can see directly down instead of from the angle. But there ain't. Not with the stand I have for it. I'd say tripod, but it ain't. It's a single leg. It's from dollar store, so I mean, who cares? It adequately performs the task required, which is a phrase I use often. But it's the truth. It does what it needs to do. That's all I care about. For a cheap-ass cotton sheet, this is pretty good. Could make shirts out of this. I will if I needed a blue collar, which I don't. Finally found my good unpick. So I gotta use a shitty one no more. There's one. Flip around, do it the other way. Somebody asked me, why do you double stitch everything? Why do you make it more difficult than it has to be? More solid than it has to be? And my answer is, why not? I'm gonna make something, may as well make it last. You know? I'd rather make something useful in the long term than something that's gonna fall apart. So I'll make something that's gonna last forever. It lasts beyond its necessity. And it was made right. That's how to say it. If something lasts beyond its useful necessity, it was made right. I wish I could come up with some witty banter for you, but kind too busy trying to figure out what the next seam is going to be. There should only be a couple on here, but you never know. Especially with any project I get my hands on, I don't know what it's going to end up looking like. See me reach for this occasionally. It's my vape. Interesting one. This one is mango. I don't smoke no more, but that don't mean I'm not an addict. The only reason I quit vaping for several months was I couldn't afford it. Now that I can, I'm going to. Addiction to nicotine. It is an addiction. Also has medical benefits. Nicotine works as a psych med, always has. Used to be back in the day, specifically schizophrenics. In my childhood, in high school actually, were given prescriptions for cigarettes because nicotine was an effective antipsychotic for them. It calmed them down, relaxed them, slowed down the rate of their hallucinations, etc. For me, it's very, very common when I have a panic attack if there's a fire, or rather if I smell smoke, which does happen. It's ridiculous. That house fire was 2020. PTSD was only diagnosed a few months ago. I think actually in December, January. But now that it's been diagnosed, I've realized that vaping in this instance, previously smoking, but vaping, has been helping. So I started to have the attacks after I quit vaping. Now, let's set up and see what this looks like. Put you back where you were. So you'll see that. That's about the best angle I'm going to get. Down there. I lost my pin cushion. It don't need to be on there. Not too bad on this side. Again, it's just going to be a bag that this side's where it's going to get weird. Yeah, you can't see nothing, but there's the top of it, fold down, there's a big gap at the bottom right there. I got to close that up. So, put a pin here, and it is going to be ugly as sin, but it's going to do the job. Put a pin there. Okay, so that's going to be folded up like that, and then I'm going to have to do some trimming in there, clean it up once I get it on. Or not, don't really matter. As long as it sits and covers everything, it'll be fine. Okay. So now, I'm going to take that off. Yeah, I'm going to take that off. I'm going to put the seam on the other side. Pin it, lay it out, cut it, put the seam on the other side. And I'll put it back on and see if it fits. I'll just put you down here so you can see what's going on when it goes on. All right. Let's see what we can do with this. Again, what I'm going for here is works. That's it. Doesn't matter what it looks like, matters that it works. Looks like I might be doing a corset in the next couple months. Again, I'm definitely have to show you parts of that process. But obviously not all of it. It's frickin' boring. Why am I saying frickin'? There's no kids here. It'd be fucking boring. Yep. Back to the sewing. Had a bit of a conversation there. So I'm going to lose some autonomy of space for a little while for a birthday party, but well, the cats have to stay somewhere if people are going to be coming in and out the door all day and not paying attention to them. Hopefully, this will work. For fuck's sakes, come on! And all my fingers to work at the same time. Hold that seam out flat so that I can stitch it. This is going to be ugly as sin. I admit that willingly. Okay. Well, let's set you up over there and see how all that worked out. Oh, hey, you can see the tree. Let's just go right on the farthest fucking corner of the bottom of the table, almost falling off of it for you to be able to see everything. The elastic edge on this thing seems to be conducive to this. Again, it ain't pretty. It does its job. So, shut the sewing machine off so I can hear myself think. It is basically a bag. But it'll do the job. It'll keep the cats out of the thread. So that can stay there for now. Alright, talk to you later.